Get ready, it's time for Motorsports Madness, powered by the staff at Race Chaser Online. Your motorsports, your way, every day. And now, here's your host, Jacob Seelman.
Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another Motorsports Madness episode with me, Jacob Seelman, and this guy, Tom Baker.
That would be me.
That would be you. And we're going to talk some racing.
That's what
as
we
they
do
say
here.
in the South.
Racing.
We got lots of racing to talk about this weekend.
Yeah, we do. NASCAR, IndyCar.
Well, most particularly, and perhaps one of our favorite parts of the show, Modifieds.
Yes, we love Modifieds around here. And for those of you who are listening or watching and wondering what is a Modified, well, we're going to tell you about that as we go and give you some places to go look.
My argument would be if there's somebody that pays attention to us that doesn't know a Modified, they need to be educated real quick.
Well, yeah, keep in mind we have a worldwide audience.
I know.
And this is a good opportunity to showcase Modifieds to a lot of new people.
I'm giving everybody a hard time.
Yes.
We love Modifieds, and we want you to love Modifieds just as much as we do because they're awesome. And we're going to have two of them their drivers on tonight. One of them is Timmy Solomito, who did not have the season that he wanted to have last year and is trying to make it better in 2019. The other is the guy who definitely had the season he wanted to have because he won the championship last year in Justin Bonsignore. And we're going to hear from both of them as this show goes on. And I think Justin's going to be particularly interesting because it wasn't until after Myrtle Beach that he kind of stepped on everybody's throats. And I know he wants a win in that race in Myrtle Beach in the worst way.
Sure does. Well, and Myrtle Beach is really the perfect place to start the season. It's a neutral track, and
it's a tire eater, which makes the racing fun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a cheese grater. So an opportunity for these guys to practice tire conservation and just have a good time in one of our bigger destinations in the nation here.
Absolutely.
Myrtle Beach is always a destination, so it's a great way to start your racing season because
really
it's still snowing up north where a lot of them are located in New England.
Yes, a lot of them are trying to come to Myrtle Beach to escape the snow for a few weeks, which is really good. So we'll look forward to talking about the Modifieds as the show goes on. As Tom mentioned, we'll also talk NASCAR and IndyCar and all sorts of fun things. NHRA, some F1. There was some news regarding that as well that we'll get to as this show goes on. Right now, though, we're going to nod off to a break. When we return, Motorsports Madness rolls on. We will be back right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Lewis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
This is Anthony Alfredo, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. We'll tell you about them a little later, too.
Yes.
Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker with you as Behind the Glass are Chris Murdoch and Randy Miller, and I'm sure we'll hear from Randy at some point tonight when we decide we want his opinion on something.
Which is often.
We'll get there. That's often.
I have control, so therefore I get to decide when I talk.
Well,
that is true.
This is a very true point.
That is true.
So, all right, we're rolling on right now, and we'll start this show. I hate starting shows on bad notes, but it's tough not to do when bad notes are really where the news of the week has been centralized. Two things, one out of the F1 world and one out of the dirt world. We'll start with F1 and offer our condolences and prayers to the Formula One family as they get set for their season opener this weekend in Melbourne, Australia. Charlie Whiting, the longtime Formula One race director, passed away very unexpectedly yesterday morning of a pulmonary embolism at 66. He had just done the track walk for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix, and just unfortunate. I think, Tom, you know, when you see someone of Charlie Whiting's stature leave us so suddenly, it's been amazing to me to see all the tributes, all the kind words, and just the impact and legacy that he's left behind in all the things that have been said about him, from the teams to those who have worked in F1, even to some fan comments that I've seen. Just, you know, the magnitude of what he did for that sport and for the FIA was so much more far-reaching than I think any of us maybe here in the States ever realized. Well,
and I think you said it exactly right. Impact. You measure somebody's impact by the reaction that, and it's always hard to lose someone, and Charlie was a big part of the F1 community, but also a big part of the motorsports community in general, and very widely respected. So certainly our thoughts and prayers are with his family and the F1 community, as you said.
Mm-hmm. And our prayers also out to the dirt late model community right now, as some news coming out just before the live airing of this show began that Scott Bloomquist was involved in a motorcycle accident that has left the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer in the hospital. We do not know the extent of any injuries. We don't know the extent of the crash or where it happened, what caused it right now. All we know is from a limited statement from the team that Scott is in the hospital and he will be out of action indefinitely when it comes to dirt late model competition, which, you know, he had just come off a pretty solid speed weeks in Volusia. So, you know, not the news that anybody wanted, and he's not voluntarily missed a Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series event since 2013. He was suspended for one non-points race back earlier this season, but he's not missed a full points race with the Lucas Oil Tour, you know, in 6 years just about. So this is going to be really weird, considering they go to Atomic Speedway in Ohio this weekend to open the Midwestern portion of their season, and for the first time in a lengthy amount of time, Scott Bloomquist will not be in the field. Whether you like him or you don't like him, he made you pay attention, and I think that's the impact that, you know, when we saw it the last time Scott was suspended after the issues that he had at Eldora during the Dirt Late Model Dream. You know, regardless of fans' thoughts on Scott Bloomquist, they wanted to see him in the field, whether because they were rooting for him or they wanted to root against him.
Well, and that's just the thing. I mean, Scott has certainly had a legacy of accomplishment, and he's never shied away from controversy. But we certainly feel bad for Scott, and you never wanted. This is the second MVA that we've had in the last couple of weeks. First
Tanner Thorson's still healing
and
up.
Now Scott. So all the best to Scott and his family as he heals, and hopefully, you first want to be able to get him back 100%.
Right.
The race car can come later, but
again,
certainly tough news about Scott.
Yeah, the race car is always secondary in situations like this, so we certainly wish well to the Bloomquist family and friends, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Whiting and F1 families right now as they go through this weekend. The race director for Formula One this weekend is going to be the deputy race director of the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship, which is running as the support series this weekend at Albert Park. So, a lot of bad news, and I want to turn the conversation to some good news.
Yeah, let's do that.
We've got a lot of racing coming ahead this weekend at Auto Club Speedway. There's been a lot of conversation about what we might or might not see. One thing we do know we'll see regardless is that Kyle Busch is going to have 2 shots at collecting NASCAR National Series win number 200, and that's another subject that's been very polarizing over the past week or so, as even a couple weeks as he's inched closer to that 200 mark. I agree with what both Kyle and Richard have said on the subject. You can't compare Kyle's 200 wins versus Richard's 200 wins.
No.
It's apples and oranges. But you have to respect, at just 33 years old, in a span of 15 years, what Kyle Busch has done in the sport to get to where he's at.
Well, I don't disagree with any of that, and we'll give Randy a chance to react as well. But I don't disagree with any of it. My whole way of looking at this is that it is an apple and an orange. Richard Petty is the all-time winningest Cup Series driver. Mm-hmm. Now, you can argue all you want about, he raced more times a week, he raced dirt track races without full fields, blah, 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 whatever. He's the all-time winningest Cup Series driver. So Kyle Busch has won 200 total races. Each, in their own way, is an accomplishment that's an anomaly and likely will never be done again. And here's why. Obviously, nobody will ever top Richard Petty's 200-win Cup Series career.
There's just not enough Cup races.
There's not enough Cup races. Nobody races long enough to do that.
Right.
But and nobody will ever win 200 races across all 3 series again, in my opinion, because NASCAR has restricted the number of races that you can run in a season in the lower series. In the beginning of Kyle's run with all of this, you didn't have any limits.
Right.
So, in my opinion, I think each accomplishment is really worthy in its own way, and probably will never happen again. In terms of how does Kyle compare to Richards? Here's my thought. Kyle won a good bunch of those truck series, especially Xfinity Series races with Cup equipment. And, obviously he's got a lot of resources other teams don't have. To me, it's sort of like Brett Favre or Tom Brady going back playing college ball and then saying, well, how many total games did they win across high school, college, and the pros? So I don't want to diminish it, but I also don't want to overstate it. I think Kyle Busch's defining legacy is yet to happen, and it's going to come in 10 years or so. If he keeps racing and can keep his winning pace up, he's going to win more races than David Pearson. He's going to have at least 106, second all-time on the Cup wins list. That's going to be what we remember Kyle long-term for, not how many truck and Xfinity races he won.
And to me, Randy, that's remarkable to even think about, in all honesty, that I don't think any of us thought that anybody would even get close to Pearson, and then Gordon did. So
Right. Gordon, when he got to 93, everybody was so excited, and he was able to get to 93 before he retired. But Kyle Busch is only 33, so he's got a good 10 years to go. But I feel like that he's going to be the theme of the night, so my answer to every question from the rest of the night is Kyle Busch.
Everything's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's great. It's all great.
We could do his response to Jeff Gluck. Whoop-de-damn-do.
That's exactly right.
That was one of the classic Kyle Busch lines ever.
Yeah.
And that one's good. That one's going to stay for a while.
Yeah.
So with all of that, we're going to get ready to step aside when we return.
Audio.
Yeah, more Motorsports Madness still to come. We got a lot more to talk about. Stick around. We continue with the program right after this.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'll come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family-owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
Hi, I'm Sheldon Creed, and you're listening to Race Talk on Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
I kind of dig that music for Sheldon Creed.
Sort of, it's Jimmy Buffett-like, kind of, or...
Well, Sheldon's a California kid.
Yeah,
so
kind of works.
It kind of works.
Just, thinking about a parrot and,
something like
island.
that. Motorsports Madness, Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Randy Miller, and Chris Murdoch are hiding back in the rafters somewhere.
Yeah, they're in the tech shed.
Murdoch just jumped up towards the ceiling off camera.
Chris
That's funny.
to jump to reach the rafters. I do not.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a true statement. Okay, we were talking about Kyle Busch a little bit in the last segment, and I want to talk more Fontana as the show goes on, but I actually want to talk about another big NASCAR thing that happened this week, known as the Hall of Fame nomination list. Ooh, ah.
That was really bad. But okay, keep going.
I will keep going because I'm one part not surprised and one part really pissed off at the Hall of Fame nominating committee.
Why?
Because they were stupid. I'll get to why they were stupid in a minute.
Well, that's pretty mean of you, calling them stupid.
Well, wait till we get to my gripe. You'll understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
First part, I was thrilled to see a certain name that was not Tony Stewart on the nomination list. And it harkens to me to drivers who, while their statistic sheets were not the longest in the world, made a huge impact in other areas of the sport. And this driver, who I believe will get in the Hall of Fame posthumously in the next couple years, is Neil Bonnet. I was thrilled to see Neil's name come up on the nomination list this year, and I believe it's very well warranted, especially for the impact he had in the broadcast booth over his time, when he stepped out of the car after his first major accident. His Cup rap sheet was not the longest in the world, like I mentioned, 18 career victories, and he didn't necessarily have the points finishes, but he did a ton in the broadcast booth with Squire, with Bob Jenkins. He was a voice in the 90s especially that, as I've gone back and watched some historical videos, just, he had a way of telling the story of the sport to the common folk, but at the same time not dumbing it down, so to speak. And I appreciate somebody with that kind of perspective.
Well, see, and I agree with you totally on that. It's the same exact argument I use for Buddy Baker. And, I think Buddy and Neil are good examples of drivers who maybe aren't as statistically accomplished as some others were. But both Buddy and Neil carried on their impact in the sport far after they get out of the driver's seat. And, of course, Neil went back and, unfortunately lost his life in a racing accident. So tough. That was a tough loss because Neil was your consummate country boy.
Yes.
And Buddy was a Southern gentleman too, but two very different styles. Buddy was kind of funny and entertaining and gregarious, and Neil was just sort of laid back.
He was.
Neil reminds me, Neil and Andy Petrie in a broadcast booth are about the same. The two of them remind me of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go around the table on this next point, and I think it may be a unanimous decision here. We'll see. Of course, we all knew that Tony Stewart was going to end up on the nomination list this year. It's the first year he's eligible. So my question is not if or when he's going to get in. It's quite simply this: is Tony Stewart a first ballot Hall of Famer and gets in May? Chris? Well, hang on. Randy needs to hit the button.
Yeah, we'll cue. There you go. Go ahead, Chris.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. You're very good.
Yes, but in this day and age, Jacob, where we see a lot of things being catered to the current fan base, and I think Tom would agree with that statement, I say yes. Just because of meeting today's standards, we saw, as soon as Jeff got out, he got in.
Yeah.
I say the same thing for Tony.
Tom?
Again, by the process we have, of course. And I don't want to diminish the fact that I don't think Tony Stewart should be in the Hall of Fame. I just think there's a whole lot of legends of the sport that ought to be put in there first. I don't think we always have to put somebody in within 2 or 3 years after they retire. But
my argument here is Tony's accomplishments speak for themselves. I mean, he's the driver with the most championships that is now no longer actively racing in NASCAR.
Sure.
That is not in the Hall. He's got the most wins of any driver not active that's not in the Hall. And He's given back with the race team. Obviously, he's still building his short track resume outside of NASCAR, but I think the accomplishments alone are first ballot Hall of Fame worthy, quite simply, Randy. It's no contest to me.
Yeah, to your point, I was going to say the same thing. If you're looking at just NASCAR stats alone, I mean, he does have 3 championships and, a bunch of wins and stuff, but if you look at everything, if you look at the full spectrum of Tony Stewart outside of NASCAR, he's still giving a lot to the sport. I mean, he does a lot, at his track at Eldora. He does a lot of sprint car stuff outside of NASCAR. If you're looking at just NASCAR, but if you're looking at motorsports as a whole, I mean, he's still doing stuff for the sport.
Right.
So I feel like he deserves to go in just because he's still giving back to the sport even after he's not racing anymore.
And I have a stupid question, maybe.
There are no stupid questions, only stupid answers.
Well, I asked this question on Instagram the other day because I saw NASCAR and NBC's post about the ballot nominations, and this has always been, I've been puzzled by this. Does Sam Bass qualify, or does he still have to follow the 3-year rule?
See, Sam never drove a race car, but my opinion on that, and I talked about this on the show right after Sam passed, Sam is a perfect candidate for, Sam's the type of perfect candidate for what the Landmark Award was created, the Landmark Award for outstanding contributions to NASCAR. I don't think for the position Sam was in, he's necessarily a true Hall of Famer, so to speak, but he's the kind of person that the Landmark Award is perfect for and the perfect description of for what he gave to the sport in other avenues. So I think you see Sam Bass end up on the Landmark Award nomination really quickly and end up being recognized in that way. Now, that allows me to segue to my gripe on 2 fronts with the Hall of Fame committee here. Numero uno, since I just mentioned the Landmark Award, I'll stop with that. Start with that. I'm already flustered. Jeez. Okay.
Get it together.
I'll start with the Landmark Award.
The flustered flannel.
I don't normally agree with Jenna Fryer, but I'm going to give Jenna a lot of credit here. Jenna, I agree with you on this because you used a word that I feel wholeheartedly right now. I'm embarrassed by the NASCAR Hall of Fame nominating committee. I did not think with the way the system was that we could have drivers or other dignitaries knocked off their respective lists once they were on there. I thought the process was only to replace once somebody was honored with an award. Well, this year has proven that's not necessarily true because for the Landmark Award, we've bumped both one of my heroes and mentors, Barney Hall, the late Barney Hall, and Janet Guthrie off the nomination pool for the Landmark Award this year. Neither of them are eligible in the 5 for the Landmark Award this year.
That'll strike a nerve with Tom.
No reason has been given yet, and I don't know that we're going to get one instantaneously, but regardless,
who replaced them?
That I'm going to have to look up real quick.
I'm sure because I don't have this entire list memorized.
I know
slipping.
If anybody in this room knows Tom as well as all of us do, he's a huge Janet Guthrie fan. So I feel like
I feel like that if you're, I feel like Janet is worthy of the Hall of Fame only because she was the first female to legitimately go out and run competitively, and she did it in equipment that wasn't nearly as good as the drivers she was running against in that era. She came in at a time when females running stock cars was largely discouraged.
Yes.
Let's put it nicely like that. And so my argument for her would be you need to put her in there not for her stats necessarily, but for what she had to overcome and how she carried herself. Now, Barney Hall, I don't think there should even be a question mark. I don't know why NASCAR, did somebody just mess up?
I don't know. Now, to answer the question, the 3 new, I don't know who the 3rd Landmark Award nominee that got bumped was, but the 3 new Landmark Award nominees that were not returning names were Edsel Ford II, Doc Mattioli, Dr. Joe Mattioli from Pocono Raceway, and Mike Helton.
Okay.
And I know that Janet Guthrie and Barney Hall were 2 of the 3 Landmark nominees from last year that did not return. The 2 returning Landmark nominees are Alvin Hawkins and Ralph Seagraves.
So we believe, apparently, that Dr. Mattioli, Mike Helton, and who was the other one?
Edsel Ford II.
Edsel Ford II. Do you want to explain to me why he gets on there and Barney Hall and Janet Guthrie don't? I mean, Helton I kind of get.
Ford II was the pioneer of the Ford Motorsports program when it was back in the formative days of NASCAR.
Is the guy from Chevrolet?
I don't know.
Is he going to be? I mean, I guess I'm just wondering where the line of thinking is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the line is there.
We probably need to talk more about that. I think that's...
Yeah, we need to talk more about that.
I don't want to call him stupid. I just think that's...
I know. So I hate, and I didn't even get to my gripe about the actual
politics.
Hall of Fame nominee that got bumped off the list. We'll get to that a little later in the show. We have to interrupt this Hall of Fame discussion for a few minutes.
Let's talk modifieds.
Talk some modifieds around the corner. We will do that with a driver out of New York who has been a frequent guest to this show, we'll say. Timmy Solomito is going to join us in the next segment to talk about getting back on the right foot with his modified program at Flamingo Motorsports and trying to chase the part of his resume that is not quite there, which is a championship. He's been second, but he wants the big trophy. He's hoping to get that this year. So we'll hear from Timmy Solomito coming up as Motorsports Madness rolls on. I'm Jacob Seelman. He's Tom Baker, and we will be right back.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend
Carolina School of Broadcasting.
The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jesse Love, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Just talked to Jesse this week, as a matter of fact. He's doing a 4-race car in 4-day little thing that actually starts today with a super late model test and goes on to pro late models and midgets and legends cars. I love the kid for his diversity. We were talking about Tony Stewart earlier, and Jesse's schedule kind of reminds me of what Tony would do back in his prime when he would literally race anything at any point.
Yeah, Jesse actually made his 410 debut last week. Not a debut, but 360.
It was a three.
Let me start that over again.
360 race.
He ran a 360 race last weekend and was basically in the car for about a half an hour and goes out and wins an LCQ.
And then, he did good.
Yeah,
kid done
the
good.
wing car is definitely, he likes driving the wing car better, he said. Mm-hmm. But, winged or unwinged, he's fast. And that kid he's just all over it.
Yes.
He's going to be he's going to run about 75 races this season. So
he's crazy.
Yeah.
I know somebody else who's fast. He just doesn't have a wing, and we're going to go to the Race Chaser hotline right now to talk.
Been done before.
With him. We welcome Timmy Solomito back to the program as we kick off our modified discussion because, well, they're racing at Myrtle Beach this weekend, and that's a place I know, Timmy, you're very fond of because you've started your season off strong there in the past, and I know after a season that was not what you wanted it to be last year, you'd like to start off strong there again this weekend.
Absolutely. The team upgraded both cars over the winter, and they did a bunch of work, and I think we're going there very prepared this year, so looking forward to it. We had really good luck there and good success in 2017, so hoping that we can get back to victory lane and start this year off right.
I was talking with somebody earlier today, actually, about Myrtle Beach and how nice it has to be for you guys to come down from the north and start the season down here, get out of the snow a little bit. But it seems interesting, too, that Myrtle Beach and even South Boston, where you guys will go in a couple weeks, these are tracks that don't necessarily behave like the tracks that you guys are used to running at in New England.
Yeah, they're completely different than what we're used to. We're used to tracks that have pretty good grip, pavement's not too beat up. We come down here to the south, and these racetracks are really rough, really abrasive on our tires, and you really have to take it slow, not really just race your competition, but you got to race the racetrack. It really comes down to strategy and who has the best tires at the end. So it makes for an interesting race. There'll be guys that'll be killing themselves in the beginning of the race to go up there and lead and try and get track position, and there'll be guys that'll fall to the back and kind of ride, hopefully be there at the last 25 laps when it counts. So it makes for an interesting race for the fans, and I think it's going to be exciting this week down here at Myrtle Beach. I think there's a lot of good cars, a lot of guys that could win the race. So it'll definitely spice things up to start the year off, and I'm excited to get to South Boston in a couple weeks too. We haven't been there at all, and it looks like a really cool track and a really nice kept facility, so it'll be interesting.
Timmy, we normally have you on our sister show, the Stock Car Show, on Monday nights. This show here has a very, very large worldwide audience who may not all be familiar with NASCAR Modifieds as a division. Can you sum up what a NASCAR Modified is and what it's like to drive one for those fans who are not necessarily acquainted with a division that Jacob and I both happen to love almost more than anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the best looking race car you'll ever see, besides maybe a dirt midget or something. But it's low to the ground. Got a 2-inch ride height on the left front, and everything's slammed down on the ground. We got 15-inch wide slick tires, open wheeled, and 600 plus horsepower. So car doesn't weigh too much, 2,600 pounds, so it really accelerates up off the corner. We got big old Nerf bars on the side of them and on the front end that we do some pushing around with, especially when it comes to a short track. So a lot different than a super late model or a cup car or anything else that most fans that are probably listening watch. So if you do get a chance, be sure to tune into NBC Sports this year or race.
FansChoice.tv.
Fans Choice TV, yeah, certainly we'll be on there. So be sure to check them out. Pretty exciting racing. A bunch of blue-collar guys, that work a 40-hour work week, like to go to the racetrack on the weekends and beat up on one another and hopefully make a good race for the fans. So makes it exciting, and it's all about bragging rights.
Well, and for those who aren't acquainted too, Jacob, Richie Evans, if NASCAR fans who remember the name Richie Evans, he was one of the best ever at NASCAR Modifieds. And so, yeah, that definitely can be something that somebody does some research on. Just go to the NASCAR.com website and search home tracks, and you'll be able to find the Modified Tour and read all about them and see pictures.
Indeed. Now, I want to go back, since you brought up the Fans' Choice bit there with Timmy. I want to ask Timmy now because I actually spent some time with Ryan Preece right after this was announced Atlanta weekend, and Ryan looks at me and goes, this might be the best thing that's happened to the modified division in a long time. So I'm curious your thoughts, Timmy, on Fans' Choice carrying every modified race and the opening up of the division to be able to be seen now by a larger fan base than you guys have ever had before.
Yeah, it's huge, especially for our series. It gets us out in front of people that, might not be able to make it to a race or might not be able to watch them. It's great for our sponsors and our teams. It gets us out in the limelight and gets people to see what we're all about. So I think it's going to be exciting for everybody that's not only watching, but even the drivers that are involved in it, So definitely a cool thing that they did, and hopefully they'll have a really good support from everybody, and everybody can watch and tune in when they can't make it to the racetrack.
What do you remember now, circling back to Myrtle Beach a bit, what do you remember from the win a couple of years ago? Because I was down there for that one, and I remember you and I talking after the race that it was kind of different than I think we all expected it to play out. It certainly worked out in your favor, but what do you remember from that race and kind of how the day played out?
Basically, you can't really go by speeds and everything. You got to basically dial your car and be really comfortable. Long run speed. You can't really look for that raw speed, and putting a number up on top of the chart or anything like that. You basically got to, you really got to tune your car for yourself to be comfortable at the end of the race. When the tires are wearing down, and basically just race the racetrack. You can't really race a competition. You got to get in a good position, get good track position, be smart about saving your tires, and get really good feedback for your crew. So on the pit stops, you can make the right adjustments and basically pit as lit as you possibly can to get the tires and try and make a mad dash to the front. I mean, a couple years ago when we won, we were actually sitting, 7th or 8th, and we just kept getting caution after caution, and it was eating up, laps under yellow, and I thought, we're never going to make it back to the front at this rate. A couple lucky breaks, and we found ourselves on the outside, running second with a green-white checker, and ended up, having enough tire left to take home the win. So it's really a chess match. It's a huge strategy deal. Kind of, it's almost, basically you take, chess and roulette and mix them together. It's basically just it's kind of a gamble. You're just out there, and you got to be lucky, got to be in the right spot. There's a lot that plays into it, so it makes it exciting for everybody that's watching it. Hopefully we come out with the best strategy and the most tires at the end to put in victory lane.
Do you enjoy strategy races like that, or do you prefer the style of racing from up in New England and Long Island where you're from, where you get to root and gouge a little bit more and it puts it more in the driver's hands?
This is cool because it's something different. We don't get to do it. We do it maybe once or twice a year. So this is definitely different for all of us. The first year I came down, I loved it. Obviously, we won, and then last year it bit us. We didn't get the last tire on, and we finished 13th. So I hated it that day, So it's kind of a catch-22. I love the hard-nosed race and drop the green flag and run as hard as you can. And the fastest guy wins or runs really well. So it makes it tough to come down here when it's a strategy race and just be smart, try and let it all play out and be there at the end. But you got to be good at both of them. You got to be able to play the mix and be there at the end. So I do enjoy this style of racing, but sometimes I like the hard-nosed short track racing as well.
You mentioned the team has gone to work upgrading the cars from where you guys were at the end of last season. Talk a little bit about what the off-season's been like for you, for Eric Sanderson, for Sly, your crew chief, and just what you guys have done to get this team back to where it was, because I know you and I talked about last year being a huge motivator for you guys, because that where you guys ended the year is not where this team is used to being.
Yeah, absolutely. We went from running on track, winning races, and contending for the championship to last year just struggling. Even to come home with top 5s and top 10s. So we knew at the end of the year, we knew 3/4 of the way through the year that we were just struggling, and we were starting to come up with a game plan then. The team just said, we all sat down, we said, what do we need to do? And we all agreed, that it was time to upgrade the equipment. We were running on some older frames, 2013s and 2014s. So We upgraded the cars, upgraded the motors. The team went to work, and we got 2 brand new Troyer TA3s. We went down to just Smyrna a couple weeks ago and tested the TA3. Found out a lot about the car, and more importantly, we had some pretty good raw speed. We qualified third 3 out of the 5 nights, and fifth and sixth the other 2 nights. Ran up front, led some laps. So that was all exciting stuff. So if we got everything together and all our ducks in a row, I think we'll be back up front and hopefully battling for wins and contend at the top 5. So the guys have been working really hard in the shop building 2 cars, and we ended up selling the other 2 cars that we had. So they've been working pretty hard to build 2 brand new race cars, plus keep everything in line, everything organized. So hopefully it'll all pay off for the guys, and we can get them back out front, back at Victory Lane where they're used to being.
One of your fellow modified competitors and a Long Islander in Justin Bonsignore won the championship last year after you came so close in 17 to doing the same thing. And that feels like the one hole left on your resume right now. How important, how motivated are you to go out and get that Crystal Bowl trophy that they give to you guys at the end of each year? Because that, to me, seems like at this point it would be the singular focus, no?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been focused on it for the last couple of years. We had won races and run well. Just couldn't put it all together. In 2017, we came so close, missing it by 6 points and winning 5 races that year. You don't have years that you win 5 races and miss the championship by 6 points, but we did, So it's a motivator, especially after last year, struggling and not having speed. As a driver, you start thinking, maybe it's me, maybe it's something that I lost. But, to go down to Florida in the beginning of this year, have speed. There's a couple nights in the invert we started 6th or 7th and were able to drive up to, top 2, top 3, and even take the lead and lead some laps. So, that all made me feel good. And then I actually ran an indoor car this winter to try and sharpen up. And, I think that's helped me a bunch too. So, driver's feeling good, got some confidence back. I think it's going to be all good stuff for 2019.
Got about 30 seconds to hit your sponsors and anybody you want to thank.
Yeah, first and foremost, Eric Sanderson. Stuck behind me. We're going on our 5th year together. He's never questioned me as a driver. Never had anything bad to say. The car gets wrecked, comes over, he says, it's job security. We'll go get him next time. You can't ask for a better owner than that. Sly Saban, Jerry Murkowski in the shop, they're working their butts off, getting the car ready every week and just focusing on speed. And all the crew members that just get to the track and help us out. And, they're all volunteer guys. So makes it tough, but they're there to win races, and hopefully we can get them back out front.
Well, we're hoping so as well. We're going to say a quick thank you to Timmy Solomito for coming on to join us tonight, because we got to jet off to a break. So we'll have more modified conversation coming up as this show goes on. Motorsports Madness continues in just a couple of moments.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem and no excuses, because it's not rocket science. It's MyComputerCareer. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Riley Herbst, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Techno Riley.
Techno Riley.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker. Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch are behind the glass, and Randy's been jumping in from time to time. We are just finishing up the first half of tonight's program, and we want to thank Timmy Solomito again for joining us on the Race Chaser Hotline during our last segment. We're going to hear from one of his contemporaries, the reigning NASCAR Modified champion Justin Bonsignore, coming up in the second half of tonight's program. And Justin has not yet won at Myrtle Beach, and I know that's a frontier that he would like to check off.
Yeah, by the way, we talk about Myrtle Beach and Modifieds, and that's coming up this weekend. If you're out there and you want to watch it, I believe, Jacob, it's live. Is it going to be live?
We were mentioning that fanschoice.tv has signed for every K&N East, K&N West, and Whelen Modified race this season. So no matter what track those three series go to, they will be on fanschoice.tv.
And here's the best the part about that. The price. It's free.
Or as my friend Casey LaJoy says, free 99.
Yes. Free 99. Fanschoice.tv, and you can watch the. If you don't know what Modified is, I mean it's going to be Saturday. What are we on the afternoon start there? So,
yes, late afternoon. I think 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so somewhere tune in somewhere around 3 o'clock Eastern and just watch the coverage from there. So Saturday afternoon should be a great weekend, and that should be a fantastic race.
It really should be. I'm very much looking forward to Saturday's race. It's always been a very peculiar race, but I think that's what makes it fun. Is like Timmy said, you really don't know what you're going to get when you come to Myrtle Beach for a modified race. And that's just, it's one of those things that just, it's a wild card race, much like a Talladega.
A lot of tire fall off. Just a lot of change from the start of a run to the end. So short track at its finest. It's a half-mile oval, very old, very historic. And tune in Saturday afternoon at about 3 Eastern or so. Watch the rest of the event.
Do it. I think 4:30 is the advertised start
time. Oh, okay. 4:30
a little
Eastern.
Bit later.
Fanschoice.tv.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with more Motorsports Madness right after this.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Strutmasters.com is the proud sponsor of NHRA Top Fuel driver Clay Milliken. If you own a luxury car or SUV, eventually your high-tech suspension system is going to fail. And when it happens, call or click Strutmasters.com for an American-made suspension conversion system that solves the problem for a fraction of what you'd pay at the dealer. And the only thing faster than the service you'll get at Strutmasters.com is Clay Milliken stomping on that loud pedal.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
I like the rhythm of that background music.
Yes.
I'm a music guy, so I'm cool with that. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker. This is Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch are over behind all the lights, camera action that we're looking at.
Keeping us on the air.
Yeah, doing a good job of it, too.
Yes.
So, real quickly, while we're talking modifieds for a bit, and we're going to get to Justin Bonsignore in a moment, but I looked at the entry list, and I'm excited because I don't think we've ever had this many cars for a modified race at Myrtle Beach before. 34 cars are entered for this deal.
34 cars and a really serious competitive list, including some names that haven't raced in a while coming back and some faces in different places, which is always fun.
So we had 29 cars for the inaugural tour race at the beach and 27 a year ago. So 34 is a marked increase, and that's good. You've got, of course, Burt Myers in Eddie Harvey's car. You've got five-time champion Doug Coby, I think I counted those titles right.
You're correct.
Matt Swanson in the bowler car. That's going to be the interesting straw that could stir the drink there. You've got John McKennedy back in Tommy Baldwin's 7NY. Patrick Emmerling's coming down from New York. I love that too. I think that's very interesting, and maybe if they get off to a strong start, could we see Emmerling take a shot at the championship? You never know. We just heard from Timmy Solomito. You've got both Bonsignore cousins, Kyle and Justin, taking a shot at it down south. The Catalano brothers, Timmy and Tommy, on the list. You've got Matt Hirschman, of course, in the PD Motorsports number 60 car, who's done everything at Myrtle Beach but win. You've got super modified star Rob Summers. Woody Pitcat's back in Danny Watt's 82 car. Anthony Nocella, who's become known for his accomplishments on the open wheel side in various things, TQ midgets, midgets, modifieds.
Absolutely.
Andy Seiss, former Southern champion in Brian Doza's 97 car. Jamie Tomeno, modified legend. I mean, this field is stout, and it's led by one driver who we're going to hear from coming up in our next segment. The champ joins
Justin
us
Bonsignore
in just a couple of minutes. Justin Bonsignore coming up on Motorsports Madness.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem and no excuses, because it's not rocket science. It's MyComputerCareer. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that helped me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Todd Gilland, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
I'm going to file a NASCAR Modified on the list of the few things that David Gilliland doesn't have in his shop, because he's got literally just about everything else. Just saying.
Yeah, he needs a NASCAR Modified, and he needs a Wing Super Modified.
Yeah,
just because.
We are kind of partial to both of those.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. Jacob Seelman and Tom Baker still at this here table talking racing, while Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch are keeping us in line. And joining us on the phone line as we go back to the Race Chaser hotline now is another driver who not only do we like having him on, but usually he ends up either giving us crap or teaching us a thing or two during the course of his segment. Champ, welcome back. Justin Bonsignore joins us now, and that's the first time I've gotten to say champ since I think the end of the season last year at Thompson. So I'm sure that's not going to get old for the next 6 months.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's been a nice thing to have been called, but I'll just go by Justin. It's a little easier.
We'll give you that, and I imagine you're just as soon not worried about what happened last year anymore and ready to focus forward on what's about to happen this year and trying to defend that championship. Of course, it starts with the one thing that you didn't do last year, which was go to Myrtle Beach and win.
Yeah, we've been excited all winter long to get back to the racetrack. I got a good group of just race-hungry guys, and all we want to do is go racing. And we're excited to get back at it. We didn't want 2018 to end, but I've said a few times now we at the same time wanted to be able to celebrate and clinch our first championship as a team. And we've been excited to get back to the racetrack. We've been watching all our friends and competitors race down in Smyrna, and a couple of the LFR guys were testing today in South Boston. So I'm excited to get back behind the wheel of the Modified. Obviously, I've been racing all winter with the TQ, staying sharp, but we are ready to unload and see what we got and see if we can pick up where we left off at the end of 18. And, Myrtle Beach is just one of its own, and, we'll just hope to get out of there with a good finish.
I wanted to ask you about that because I know you and Eric Rudolph put on a show for the TQ title, and it didn't quite work out in your favor, but that looked like a ton of fun that you had over the last couple months.
Yeah, TQ racing is always a really good time over the winter. It keeps me sharp. I'm not much of a gym guy, so to stay behind the wheel, keep my mind sharp. They'll definitely keep you in a little bit of shape as tough as they are to run. So I had a good time all winter. We came up a little short. We were winner take all pretty much position on going into Saturday night with our new Bobby Weber owned race car, but got caught up in a wreck. Well, got wrecked actually. Running third. Don't think we were going to beat Eric as it was on Saturday night. We were better than him Friday and got the win, but he was definitely better than us Saturday. So would have been a tall order, but unfortunately got caught up in a wreck and ended our night early. But like I said, it's something to do with your buddies during the winter and stay sharp in the meantime.
You were running in my home area up in Syracuse, New York, for the grand finale. That was the first time they have ever run TQs in that new building. What was that? How did that work out?
I think it went great. I'd be shocked if they don't go back. I think that's going to become the third event. That'll be a yearly event for the Sandwich Series. So. We got Allentown, and obviously Atlantic City is tradition, but that brand new arena that they built there, unfortunately, it was at the cost of the dirt track. But if we can get some type of race in there permanently again, it would be great. The arena is beautiful. It's brand new. They spent like $30+ million on the place. It was a great event. You could unload your trailer right at the door. The doors were closed all weekend. It was warm for the fans. The fans could come right into the pit area. It was a great layout, and I think they can build on it for years to come. So hopefully we can definitely keep going back to that place. Just from Long Island, it's a little bit of a hike. It's like going to the end of the earth for us.
That's exciting. Okay, let's talk about Myrtle Beach a little bit, because obviously brand new season, brand new situation. You got the hot hand last year, won the championship. It seems like this year going in, everybody's talking about you again, but this tour just keeps getting more and more competitive. We've got 34 cars set to go to the green over the weekend. What are you thinking?
I'm confident in what we got. Obviously Ryan Stone with our LFR cars, they're going to come prepared. Ryan's been fine-tuning on them all winter long. We didn't go to Smyrna for that reason. We just wanted to be 100% prepared. We were really good off the truck last year at Myrtle Beach. We didn't even get to shake the cars down last year and went right to second in the first practice. And we were in contention to win. Just a little bit of strategy bit us with the tire strategy you have to play at at Myrtle Beach. So I'm excited to get back down there, and we've learned a lot in a year as a team, and we've come a long way, and I think we have a better understanding of the pit strategy that we need to play on Saturday. So it's a really tough race to play, but I'm excited to get down there and give it a shot.
So Solomito was on here a little while ago, and he was kind of torn on liking or not liking the strategy aspect at Myrtle Beach. And you grew up on Long Island, and Riverhead, those drivers' race tracks for the Modifieds are much different than what you face at Myrtle Beach. Do you like the strategy aspect that a track like the Beach brings to the table?
I like it once a year. I think it's something different, and it kind of rounds out all the racetracks. We have all different types of tracks, but I think it makes you become a more whole driver. It's we don't have a road course on schedule, but it's like I had another wild card like that where you have to play strategy, whether it's with your pit stops and your crew chief drawing up different strategy, and you're not just all out going as hard as you can. The driver has to have finesse, and there's just a lot of different aspects that it brings to the series. It's not something I think we should be doing more than once a year, but I do enjoy going down there. It's nice to start the season off down south in the warm weather, and I think it definitely it adds more characteristics to our series, and I think that's a good thing.
We were talking with Timmy earlier. I mentioned the fact that normally we have you guys on our Monday night show that we do this show live on Thursday nights, and ends up being syndicated. We've got over 1 million listeners worldwide on several different platforms for this show, and I asked Timmy to kind of define what a Modify was and all of that. My question for you is, with all the horsepower and the big wide tires and all of that you have, how does a track like Myrtle Beach affect the Modified? We know how it affects late models and so forth, but this has got to be one of the rougher, more abrasive tracks you run at during the year, even though a lot of the tracks in New England are pretty old.
Yeah, it's one in its own down in Myrtle Beach. New Smyrna is kind of close to the way it wears out tires, but at least at New Smyrna you can go hard for a little bit. I mean, right off on a sticker tire run at Myrtle Beach, you cannot really go as hard as you want. You will wear the tires out in a lap. After 10 laps, the drop off is at least a second or more. So the tire compound we run is just really soft, and I honestly think with any compound we bring, it wouldn't make the racing any different. So it's definitely a beast of its own. But I think like I said, it makes you come up with tire strategy, and it gets the crew chiefs involved and the pit crew involved, and it just makes for a good event overall.
Justin, we got about a minute left, and I want to give you a chance to shout out to the supporters and sponsors that make it possible for you to get to the racetrack. Who do you need to thank?
We can't do it without everybody. I've been driving for Ken Massa now for 10 years. We actually have this is our 10th season together, so pretty excited about that. And M3 Technologies and his whole family, Janine and the kids, and Phoenix Communications, everything they do for us to get us to the racetrack. We got Clearcom coming on board as an associate sponsor this year. LFR Race Cars, Robbie Fuller, and David Lewis of Robert Yates and Engines. Along with my whole team, Ryan leads a great group of guys, and we got the whole same crew back this year, and actually getting ready they're heading out soon with the rig to head down there. So I'm excited to get the year kicked off here and see what we can do. We're hoping we can pick back up where we were last year, but we're going to work hard, keep progressing, and just try and be better than we were if we can.
10 years. I don't know, Jacob. One of them should get a pin. I don't know which one, but one of them should get a pin. If you be together for 10 years, one of them deserves a pin.
Instead of a pin, we did a special back panel of a bunch of old pictures and stuff that Phoenix was willing to give up the spot of the car to show old pictures of the team over the last 10 years.
Oh,
so
nice.
Pretty cool of them to let us to do, and a little tribute to Ken, and a little way of thanking him for everything he's done
awesome.
for myself and the team and everybody.
Cool.
So cool little thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to thank Justin Bonsignore for joining us on the program tonight. With that, we're going to scurry right off to a break. Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu, continues in just a moment.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Cody Connor, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Convenient Cody Connor plug is convenient because Pass is getting ready to go to Richmond for their rescheduled race.
Yeah. I think that was the Tiger Stripes Blues.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. Jacob Seelman and Tom Baker with you on this side of the camera, and on the other side is Randy Miller and Chris Murdoch, who have been punching buttons all night and keeping us straight and in line and doing our thing over here. And not that I'm just going to jump right out from behind this table and abandon you for the rest of the show, but if I were interested in doing so and going and finding a cybersecurity job somewhere, Tom, I hear our friends at MyComputerCareer can help with that.
You know, you're right. They actually can. I'm trying to picture you in cybersecurity, but My Computer Career can help you become or enjoy a job in cybersecurity, and they can train you for that position in as little as 4 months. Here's how this works. You go to mycomputercareer.edu. There's a free career evaluation there. Take it, and if it's something that you're interested in, you can have the degree in as little as 4 months. 2 different ways. You can either study online 2 to 3 days a week, or you can go to one of their campuses. They've got 7 of them all over the country. So you can do either way. It doesn't make any difference. And here's the thing. You say, well, I'm not very good at math and science. It doesn't matter. It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. It's training for a better life. And there are over 2 million right now cybersecurity jobs that are unfilled across the country. IT is one of the growing professions, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. You're not going to be replaced by a robot. So again, mycomputercareer.edu, free career evaluation. You can go there, take that, and if you decide you want to pursue a career in IT, as little as 4 months is all it takes at your pace, 2 to 3 days a week, on campus or online, doesn't make any difference. Financial aid is available if you're eligible, including the GI Bill, and they work with hundreds of employers so that you could be placed as soon as possible once you are able and have all the training that you need. So there's no excuses. Just go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation and get started on your way to a new career in IT and cybersecurity. You're not really going to go into cybersecurity,
no, I'm
are
not.
you? Okay, good.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough for that.
Well, Ricky Harden in our chat is an IT professional.
Hey, I give Ricky credit. He's way better with that stuff than I am.
He's very smart. We're happy to have Ricky as a fan of the show, and we appreciate him tuning in.
I'll stay doing what I'm doing and fumbling through talking about race cars.
Okay, warning to all of you. Gripe session upcoming.
Yes, this portion of the show,
Jacob's going to gripe.
Yeah, Jacob's going to gripe. I need to get Bounty to sponsor this gripe segment because they can clean up all the spilled milk that I'm about to cry over.
Or gripe water.
Or gripe water.
Or you know what? We can do this. What's your beef, Jacob? Brought to you by Wendy's.
By Wendy's or by Smithfield?
Well, there could be a lot of people.
Yeah. Anyway.
Pick your poison.
Moving on. My beef is once again with the NASCAR Hall of Fame nominating committee. Earlier it was about the Landmark Award. If you missed that, I got mad because Barney Hall and Janet Guthrie got bumped from the Landmark Award list for this year. Now I move to the actual NASCAR Hall of Fame nominating list and nominating committee because, well, they bumped somebody off that list too. We've never done it in the previous 10 years of doing this, but apparently, Kurt Shelmerdine is not good enough to be on the Hall of Fame nomination list anymore. I don't get it. He has more Cup Series wins in a shorter amount of time and more championships before age 33 or 34. I remembered the exact number. I saw it yesterday, and then I'll go look it up from Nate Ryan. But he had more accomplishments in a shorter amount of time than Ray Evernham, who's already in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand it here. I don't like the idea that once you've been on the nomination list, you can be bumped off. I don't feel like that's fair. I don't feel like it's right. And for God's sake, crew chiefs have been basically the forgotten redheaded stepchildren of the NASCAR Hall of Fame since there was a NASCAR Hall of Fame. Crew chiefs have gotten no respect since this whole thing started. Nate Ryan actually penned a column about this that I wanted to jump through my laptop and hug Nate because he was 100% right. There's only a handful of crew chiefs. I think I can count on one hand the amount of true crew chiefs that are in the Hall right now, and there's way more that should be on the nomination list, let alone some that should already be in the Hall. It just grinds my gears.
I have two thoughts on that. One, I agree with you in general. Why is it that have we had people bumped off before this year?
No, this is a new thing. This is a new thing.
So the first question is, why are they doing that? I mean, what does it hurt to have a larger number of people, Randy, on the nomination list? I don't understand. Let people vote for who they believe should be in there. I do agree with the crew chief sentiment. There should be more of the crew chiefs in there, but I think this goes back to what I said before, and then I'll let Randy react. For me, why is Ray Evernham in before Kirk Shelmerdine? There needs to be more of the legends and the older those who impacted beforehand. Just because Ray's eligible doesn't mean he should be in on the first vote. If we're going to limit the number of people that can be in the Hall of Fame at one time, that can be voted in at one time, Randy, I think we should look at doing it according to, at least for the most part, according to chronology, instead of putting all these first-time ballot Hall of Famers in and leaving these guys like Kirk Shelmerdine off.
Yeah, there's era creators at the beginning of NASCAR's history that haven't been in the Hall of Fame yet, but then we have people like, Jeff Gordon, although he is, a great person.
Somebody like Jeff Gordon should be a first
I was just using him as an example,
yeah,
but I'm saying there are people that, that are more recent people that have retired and they're already in the Hall of Fame, and we have people that pretty much invented the sport that are still out there waiting to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. My question, though, is does like football and baseball, do those guys do the same kind of voting where when the nominations come out, some people usually get bumped off? Does anybody know? Because
I don't know.
I don't
know, but I think it bothers me that NASCAR puts so few people into the Hall each year to begin with. And that's why you get these debates that go on.
I know we talked about, and I brought up the comparison to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame couple weeks ago on this show, and how they have different categories for selection every year. But somebody actually brought up the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, how they have I don't think it's quite an unlimited pool of nominees every year, but there's a bunch every year, and then anyone who gets a certain percentage of the vote goes in, and some years you have more inductees than others, but I would actually advocate for something like that, because it would give more of the pioneers and more of these guys who should already be in the Hall an opportunity to be in, as opposed to limiting it to 4 or 5 people every year and having to leave some of these people off that should have been in years ago.
Yeah, that's my whole take, is I think that there are too few from each category on the ballot each year. And I think we vote too few total people in each year. I think NASCAR, the first, say, 5 years of the Hall of Fame, should have put a lot more of the pioneers in. And then we wouldn't have to have all these debates. I know it's an arbitrary thing, I mean, whether you're in the Hall of Fame or not, but to me, when you give as much of your life to the sport as Kirk Shelmerdine has, and you are as accomplished as he is, if you're going to put Ray Evernham in there, by all means, Kirk Shelmerdine should be in there as well. And there are a number of other crew chiefs that would also be in that category. Dale Inman.
I was going to say, stop and consider that Dale Inman wasn't even on the nomination list the first year of the Hall of Fame, and he has more championships than anyone in NASCAR,
including Richard Petty.
That's not a team owner. Correct.
Yeah, he's got 8 because he worked with
Terry Labonte.
Yep.
For Terry's second championship at Hendrick Motorsports. So,
to answer you guys' question, it does happen in other sports.
Yeah,
because I looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, for instance, like Baseball Hall of Fame, they actually, the voting committee actually votes for, like, they give them 33 names, and they're allowed to vote for 10 out of the 33, and then those votes go into the initial list, and then they vote for those people going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
okay.
From year to year, they can't be bumped if nobody votes them into the actual nomination list.
It's dumb.
Yeah, it's just I think there's got to be a better way to do this to make it to put more people into the Hall faster, because there's you started the Hall after you had how many decades of the sport?
Right. Almost.
So I feel like you got to try to accelerate the process here to get some of these people in here.
I don't know how many like wrestling fans are out there, but I know like the WWE, when they do their Hall of Fame every year, the last couple of years they've done like I don't know what it's called, but it's like there's like a list of like 15 people that go in together as like a like an empire type of thing where they induct like 15 people at once, just because there's so much history in the sport.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think NASCAR needs to look at that.
That's something they can do too.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on a break. I don't want to dig into another subject just yet, because then we'll get long-winded and screw up the clock.
Us? Really?
Yeah, never. Right? Yeah, I don't want Randy. He's got ammunition back there, and I don't want it aimed at my. Oh gosh, now he's got.
That one wasn't
Chris
me.
throwing
That one was
things
Chris.
Too. Good.
Well, Chris will actually.
I do have projectiles.
Yeah, Chris will actually throw things. So let's not do that.
That looks like that would hurt too.
When we come back around the corner, it'll be our lightning round segment, and instead of quick-hitting topics, we'll have a variety of topics. We'll talk a little IndyCar, we'll talk a little Formula One, and we'll also talk a little NHRA. So all of that coming up in the lightning round segment in just a couple of minutes. This is Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer, and we'll be back right after this.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Lewis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this could be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Zane Smith, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. It's our lightning round, and tonight's lightning round is brought to you by StrutMasters.com, proud sponsor of NHRA Top Fuel Regular, and, oh, by the way, 6-time IHRA Top Fuel Champion, Clay Millican.
If you own a luxury car or SUV, eventually your high-tech suspension system is going to fail. And when it happens, here's all you need to do. Call or click StrutMasters.com for an American-made suspension conversion system that solves the problem for a fraction of what you pay at the dealer, and that is the truth. The only thing faster than the service at StrutMasters.com is Clay Millican stomping on that loud pedal. And oh, by the way, he's going to be doing that very soon in the next NHRA event.
He is this weekend at the golden anniversary of the Amalie Motor Oil Gator Nationals at Gainesville Raceway in Florida, which has so many storylines. I wish we had a whole show to talk about them. We'll hit the highlights. Number one, I think, is Clay Millican and the fact that he and Steve Torrence likely going to resume their battle for top fuel supremacy. Yep. And, oh, by the way, neither one of them have won yet this season, considering Steve's dear old dad, Billy, managed to do it out in Phoenix earlier this year. Yep. So I think that's the interesting thing there in top fuel is the guys who have dominated the last year looking to get back up on the high horse, so to speak. Funny car, Jack Beckman's looking to become the first driver in a while to go back-to-back at the Gator Nationals. And I loved this quote from Beckman earlier this week. He goes, I don't want to be the guy who won the 49th Gator Nationals. I want to be the guy who won back-to-back and won the 50th, because 50th only comes around about once in a lifetime.
Well, that's exactly right. It'll never come around again.
Probably not. He'll be long retired by the time.
Well, once you get to 50, you go to 51, you don't go backwards.
True,
so it'll never come around again.
And by the time the next major milestone comes along for the Gator Nationals, Beckman will be long since retired, I would think.
I would think so.
I mean, unless he's going to pull a John Force. But speaking of
There's always that possibility.
Speaking of John Force is going for NHRA Funny Car win number 150 this weekend in the 50th annual Gator Nationals. So that's a big deal. And
take that, Kyle Busch.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Good. If Kyle Busch runs as long as John Force, I don't want to think about how many races he could win.
Oh, my gosh. He might catch Petty.
Anyway, so yeah, there's Funny Car. Pro Stock, couple things that I noticed on social media this week. Number one, Alex Laughlin is debuting a Haviland scheme on his Pro Stock car that's red and gold, and it is absolutely fantastic looking. That car is going to be really slick this weekend in Gainesville. Pro Stock Motorcycles really where the fun storylines are, though, Tom. In a world where Angel Sampe and Vance and Hines are in the sport, what odds would you have ever given those two sides to pair up for anything?
I know, it's amazing. That's kind of like if you're a baseball fan, it'd be kind of like the Yankees and the Mets co-promoting something.
Yeah.
Or the Yankees, the Red Sox. It just shouldn't happen.
Oil and water.
Yeah.
Should never mix. And yet Angel is driving the third Vance and Hines Street Rod starting this weekend at the Gator Nationals. Mike, if she goes out and wins this race, it's going to start a storm of, why didn't you do this 10 years ago? And Matt Hines is going to look at everybody and go, because 10 years ago we hated her because she kept beating us.
Yeah, we were sore losers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it, though. I really do. And Karen Stouffer is also in the headlines, I believe, on a White Alligator ride this weekend, which is another one of those that I was like, oh, this is weird. But with Jerry Savoy cutting back a little bit, things got interesting, and Savoy was looking for something different. So we'll still
Never
see
know
him.
what you're going to find in the
you
NHRA
really don't.
these days, which is great.
I love it. It's something different. Last year, remember, by the way, Terry McMillan was the shocker of the Gator Nationals when he picked up that victory, and I'm hoping that we might see something crazy like that again. The coolest storyline about this year's Gator Nationals, not only is it the 50th, but NHRA's also got something fun going this weekend called Unfinished Business, Tom, where 8 of the legends of the sport, including Joe Amato, Big Daddy Don Garlitz, Shirley Muldowney. There's a handful of others, too. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but legends of the sport, the founding members of the sport in some cases, are racing against each other in elimination passes in identically prepared Toyota Camrys at Gainesville this weekend.
It's IROC, NHRA style, and I love it. It's great. That's going to be fun.
How can you not love it?
It's great. And oh, by the way, I was just thinking about the whole Kyle Busch racing as long as John Force. The vision in my head was, here's Kyle at 68 and he wins, and he gets out and he bows and like throws out a hip or something. He's got to be out for 6 weeks.
Oh, man.
Actually, I feel like at some point in time, Brexton's going to come along and beat him, and then he's just
You are so right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Get out, Dad. You're too old.
Oh, man. All right.
Anyway.
Let's go to F1 for a minute and ask ourselves, because the Australian Grand Prix is this weekend. We talked at the top of the show, the tragic death of race director Charlie Whiting. So I know it's going to be a somber note in the Australian Grand Prix paddock this weekend, but the question everybody's asking is Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, or somebody else?
Well, you know what? It's too easy to go with the favorite. I had to laugh at Lewis's teammate.
Valtteri?
Valtteri Bottas, who suggested that he's basically, in paraphrasing, it's kind of the Roscoe P. Coltrane. I'm getting serious now. I mean, he's going out and run for a championship. It's like, you don't understand. There's a reason you're where you are. It's because you're number 2 and Lewis is number 1. That will never happen at Mercedes if Lewis Hamilton is still racing. I don't see Bottas winning a title. So I'm going actually with one of the Red Bull cars. Can you guess which one?
Max.
Yeah, Max Verstappen. Yeah, I am. I actually feel like they're going to have an interesting season and be fun to watch this year. I think him and Gasly will be good teammates, and it isn't often that you see Max this excited going into a season about what the situation is there, but he's really stoked.
Well, I think Pierre Gasly's going to push Max.
I agree.
As well.
Yeah, Pierre's got some learning to do, but I think he's going to.
I think he did a lot of learning with as far as he took Toro Rosso last year and the points he scored. I believe Pierre's done a lot of learning already. I think he's going to be just fine and be up to speed very quickly. I felt like he was even better at Toro Rosso than Max was when Max was at Toro Rosso, personally.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good sign of things to come. We'll go back around the table for IndyCar conversation now with a couple minutes to go here. Chevrolet lost the Manufacturers' Cup for the first time in 7 years last year at the end of the NTT IndyCar Series season. However, they're back on top. They won the season opener in St. Petersburg with Team Penske and Joseph Newgarden. Is Chevrolet back? Is this a sign that the Bowtie Brigade is going to get back on the horse and stomp on some HPD this year?
If you're asking me, I don't think one race is nearly enough of a data sample to. Penske always runs well at St. Pete, so I don't feel like we know that yet. I hope it will be even up. I'd love to see 15 to 20. I know there are 15 to 20 drivers that can win a race on any given day this year. I don't know if there are 15 to 20 cars. That's what remains to be seen, and I hope that's the case.
Randy?
Kyle Busch. Oh, sorry.
You did say you were going to.
I feel like going into Daytona, everybody was so excited about Chevrolet, and Chevrolet failed pretty much at Daytona. So, I mean, I know it's IndyCar, not NASCAR, but I feel like their number needs to be drawn right now because I don't feel like they're really that great. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm skeptical. I hope that they're going to be better. But if they're anything like their Cup program, it's going to be a long season.
I also
Chevrolet.
think you got to exclude Penske from this conversation.
Well, the problem is Penske,
I think they can put Volkswagens in their cars.
I was going to say the problem is Penske's the only power team that Chevrolet has right now. That's what makes the argument pretty tough.
Be okay
yeah,
too.
exactly.
Probably. All right, so the last couple minutes of this segment, I want to talk about something, Tom, that you actually were the one that brought this to the table, and I'm like, well, This is fun. Mecum Auctions this weekend is going to be auctioning off some pretty cool motorsports history, a selection and an offering of cars from the Earnhardt collection, including one of his 1994, that's championship number 7, by the way, title-winning race cars.
Yeah.
You were the one that mentioned this. You probably know more than I do.
I didn't know if you were going to ask a question. Or,
I don't have a question. I just want to know more about it.
Well, the problem is we really don't know that much more about it, except that on Saturday in Phoenix at the Mecum Auctions, there are going to be a whole bunch of Earnhardt cars, 20 to be exact. And it's going to be, I think this is going to be interesting because you know how people are with nostalgia in motorsports, and Dale Earnhardt, I'm going to be interested to see how many of these cars go for 7 to 8 figures.
Yeah.
I could see 7 figures easily for the championship car.
So I just quickly hit a Google search and went to Auto Week on this. So the collection devoted to Dale Earnhardt is what they're calling this. It's the Mecum Auctions event in Glendale near Phoenix. 3 race-driven Earnhardt Sr. cars, including a 1994 Chevy Lumina, which is estimated to fetch somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000.
Right.
A 1989 Senior Lumina and a 97 Monte Carlo, estimated somewhere between $75,000 and $125,000. The 94 car is the car that he clinched the championship in at Rockingham, by the way, to win that race and win the championship. What's cool is there's also 2 Dale Earnhardt Jr. cars that are involved here from DEI, including chassis 8022 from 2004, which won at Atlanta. I remember that race, the race that Jr. won at Atlanta in March. And that car is autographed.
Yeah, it should be something. I'm surprised Junior wouldn't have wanted that championship-winning car. It's really going to be interesting to see who ends up with these.
And there's a streetcar collection as well. 2011 Chevy Camaro Earnhardt edition with Intimidator trim. Those were fabricated by Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, which is where I go to get my car serviced over in Newton, as a matter of fact. 2008 Chevy Corvette Pace Car Convertible, 08 Chevy Corvette Pace Car Coupe, 06 Hummer H1 Alpha, 01 Chevy Camaro SS Earnhardt Edition, among the other cars that are going to be going across the auction block. And if you want to go take a look at the complete collection, there's an article on autoweek.com that has a link to the full collection, and anyone who has the money to want to go and try and get one of those cars this weekend, be my guest. It's more than I can afford.
I spent all my money on that condo in Manhattan.
Yeah.
The one with the granite, the Granite 88.
And by the way,
my money.
If you're watching or listening to this show, give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Race Chaser Media.
Social. Digits. All right. With that, we have, about 15 seconds, so that means it's time to slide away to a break. And when we return, we'll toss a checkered flag on this edition of Motorsports Madness and gear up for the racing weekend. So don't go anywhere. This is Motorsports Madness, powered by MyComputerCareer.edu. We'll finish it up in just a couple of minutes.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas and get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
The driver who, I can't call him a breakout driver of 2019, but is already on his way to defending his 2018 NASCAR Xfinity Series title, Tyler Reddick. And I think that's the fun storyline going into Saturday's Xfinity races. Who can beat Kyle Busch? And I believe Tyler Reddick would be on the short list.
Well, he certainly would. I don't think it'll happen, though. I think Kyle gets 200 on Saturday.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, he is a 6-time Xfinity winner there.
Yeah, I mean, he's 2 for 2 so far this year. And basically, Kyle Busch, or rather JGR, has pretty much owned the Xfinity Series so far this year.
Yeah, ownage. So. Absolutely. And, shoot, Kyle's 2 for 2 in trucks, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think if anybody beats Kyle, it's Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
That's my take on
that. Yeah, and for Bell, it would be interesting if he does deny Kyle 200 and make him wait till Sunday. Boy, that would be the real story of the weekend if somebody can deny Kyle and force him to wait till Sunday. With that, we're going to tie a bow on this show and thank our partners at MyComputerCareer.edu, HMS Motorsport, and StrutMasters.com for what they do to make this show possible, as well as Chris Murdoch and Randy Miller behind the glass for letting us actually stay on the air the entire show.
Yeah.
That's always much appreciated, gents.
You haven't signed off yet.
True, but I'm about to. For Tom Baker, I'm Jacob Seelman. Folks, keep it off the wall, and if you're headed to a racetrack this weekend, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness with the Race Chaser Online crew. Stay tuned to Performance Motorsports Network for more race talk. For the latest motorsports news, visit racechaseronline.com. Motorsports Madness is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network, www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section of the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-hosts, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week when the madness returns on Monday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, keep it off the wall and keep the shiny side up.